podcast tonight. Matter of fact, this might be the most important discussion we've ever had because it applies to every different area of what we're trying to do to liberate, educate, elevate, and uplift our people. So, when I talk tonight, everything is going to be coming from this book, The Blueprint for Black Youth Empowerment. If you don't have it, you can download it right now on Kindle, or you can go and you can order it off of Amazon. But I suggest that every person, matter of fact, I was going to say everybody under 30, under 40, but I'm going to suggest every person get this book. And the reason I think it's important is not just because it's my book and I wrote it. It's because the rules and the things that I outline in this book. What's up, Shamiki? On Facebook Live. The rules and the things that I outline in this book, they are proven. Okay, it's not theoretical anymore. It's not things that I just debated and argued about or read about. There are things that we've done to organize in the real world. Not the internet world, not the YouTube world, not just the social media world. I'm talking about on the ground, in neighborhoods, with youth who would have otherwise been in prison. Right? I'm talking about real work. And so, the things that I laid out in this book and that I'm going to reference from this outline, I've already went in and picked out the main points that I want to hit. They've been proven. Now, to start this discussion off, we have to recognize two things. Number one, the time for talk is done. Okay? You can sit and listen to 5,000 hours worth of lectures. You can read thousands and thousands of books. You can debate endlessly and become the great debater. But if you don't take the information and learn how to translate it and apply it to the real world to build institutions and benefit our people, build organizations, then none of that information means anything. All right? We as blacks have gotten so caught up on information. Now, do you need information? Absolutely. Because you can't fight a war without knowledge and skill. But we have gotten so caught up on information that has become, as far as we go, the number one title for a black so-called activist seems to be paid lecturer. You want to read enough, debate enough, speak enough, talk enough, till you can go be paid to lecture. Hey, nothing wrong with getting paid to talk. Beautiful. Be a beautiful job. I'd love to have that job. My job as an attorney is much harder because people's lives are literally on the line. But what I'm saying is this. We're not going to be able to debate our way out of what's coming up with these Nazis in America. We're not going to be able to argue our way to economic independence. And just reading and gaining knowledge is not going to stop police from killing our children and keep them out of prison. We are going to have to take the things that we know, the things that we learn, and we're going to have to get our asses out in the streets and get to work and build something tangible. So that's number one. That's the point of this book. How do you take what you've read? Now, I love to read. I love to read so much that me and my daughter, we fight over my books, right? I've written 2 books. I collect books. I got more books than I can read. I wish I had more time to read. But if I just gain all that knowledge and do nothing with it, that's like stockpiling a bunch of bullets and never shooting them. Right? So, let's get that down. We have to move beyond talk. Being a lecturer is great. Being a teacher is great. Being a scholar is great. But we have to also be builders, organizers, that produce tangible benefits. Now, that was number one. The number two thing I want to say is this, before we even get into the whole gist of the discussion. Before you step into so-called activism, before you decide that you want to be involved in the community and benefit our people, before you try to come out here, because nothing's easy about this now. It's not paid work. Organizing our people is not paid work. We're going to get to that as we go. I want you to do one thing, and I want you to make sure that your motivations are pure. What do I mean by that? Make sure you're getting into this for the right reason. Getting into what? Whatever avenue it is that you're going to work in to build our community, whether that be youth, whether that be nutrition, whether that be political organizing, whether that be armed and getting people ready to defend themselves, martial arts, whether planting their own vegetables. It's 1,000 million things we could be doing to build ourselves up. All right? But before you step out here, make sure you're getting into this for the right reasons. Why is that so important? If you get into this for the wrong reasons, right? I'll give you some wrong reasons. You want a platform. You want your name to be known. You want to be popular. You want to get some money. You want to get some sex. You want to get extra women. You want to just be known, right? Popular. Same things that rappers want. See what I'm saying? Those are the same things that rappers want. If that's what you're really getting into this for, you're going to end up doing a lot more harm to the people than good. You're going to end up creating dissension and division in the movement. You're going to end up imploding upon yourself, like certain individuals that we see now who have lost their way, moved to California, don't talk about black empowerment anymore, and constantly feel the need to take pictures with white women and post about why it's okay because they're making money off of it, and to post material things such as Michael Jordan shoes and cars. Certain individuals that we know. All right? Make sure the reasons that you're getting to this are pure and not to be celebrity. And here's why. I'm a firm believer in God. I'm a firm believer in Jesus Christ. I'm a firm believer in the law of attraction. I'm a firm believer in our ancestors. I'm a firm believer in the Creator. I'm a firm believer that every action has a reaction. Everything that you put out, you're going to reap what you sow. Just like they say, karma. I'm a firm believer. Nah, forget believer. I know that if you're not in this for the right reasons, God is not going to be with you. Now, whether you want to call God Allah, Amun-Ra, Jehovah, whatever you want to call him, Yahweh, God is not going to be with you in this struggle if you're in this for the wrong reasons. You can't hide it. It's going to come out. Right? The Almighty Creator. Do you think you can fool him? Okay? And do you not think that in this struggle against the magnificent odds that we up against, do you not think that you're not going to need God? Because if you could do it yourself, I'm sure you would have already done it, right? So when you get into this for the wrong reasons, the energy that you put out is going to be negative. People are going to see right through you. You know what I'm saying? See, people are going to see right through you, and God is not going to be with you, and you're not going to manifest. I've seen these sick individuals that are in this for the wrong reason and still in the same position they were in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, right? Now we started this thing with 2 kids, really 1, and we're to the point now where we got 100 kids in Jacksonville 20 or 30 volunteers, a whole another group of 30, 40 kids in Orlando, a whole another group of volunteers there. And we laid out a game plan that's being applied in different cities around the country. You're going to see a lot of black youth empowerment programs that look very similar to BPM everywhere around the country. And that's good. That's good. It's spreading. It's spreading. It's powerful programs out there that are training our boys to be men. But it would have never manifested. God would have never blessed it had I got into this for the wrong reason. Right? I seen them come and go. I seen them come and go. I seen them come and go. Right? So that's number one. Make sure your motivations are right. And then, number two, stay in your own lane. Now, what do I mean by that? Just because you see somebody else doing something in the community and it's working, just because you see someone else making an impact in a particular way, let's just say it's health. They got people changing their diets. They got people exercising. They might be leading exercise groups. They got them lifting weights. They got them running. They got them swimming, eating more vegetables. You know what I'm saying? They putting down the cigarettes. People are following their lead in health. That doesn't mean you got to go try to be a health activist. Just because they're doing it well, that might not be for you, right? It might be for you to go join and help them, but it might not be your thing to go try to be the next health leader. Or I'll give you another example. One of my favorite scholars is Imlamu Baruti. I'm currently reading a book of his that's 700 pages. I love it's the homosexuality and the feminization of the African male. It's a powerful book. And I feel like Imlamu Baruti is one of the most powerful scholars that we have alive today. But does that mean I'm going to go try to write a 700-page book? Hell no. Right? That's not my field. That's not my lane. I'm going to stay in my lane. I try to keep my books to 100 pages. Why? Because I'm aiming at young people. They might not want to read 700 pages. Right? I know what my lane is. If I want to get straight to the point. I'm not a professor. Right? I'm an attorney. As a trial attorney, they teach us don't use any words over an 8th grade level when you're speaking to a jury. Why? Because that's the average maximum education of the American people, right? So I'm trying to get straight to the point. I don't want to, when you're speaking to a bunch of professors, you can use the ivory tower language. When you're speaking to plain, common, everyday people, you got to get right to the point or they get bored and move on, right? So, while I do consider myself a scholar, I do have degrees, I do love to read, write, argue, and debate. When I'm trying to get to the point with the people, I'm going to keep it brief. No 700 pages here. I'm going to stay in my lane. Now, do we need people writing the big books, doing the research, gathering the information? Hell yeah, we need that. Because the enemy is crafty these days. The enemy will tell you they're black nationalists and not be for the black family. How in the hell are you going to be a black nationalist and not be for the black family? Because they're going to try to change what the black family is. The black family means the black man and the black woman under a black God and black children. It's nothing else. But the enemy is so crafty that they're coming with different definitions and they're telling you that this is African. We need somebody to do the research and write the 700-page book. It's just not going to be me. Right? I'm going to stay in my lane. So, make sure your motivations are pure. And don't go try to get into somebody else's thing just because you see them doing well at it. It might not be for you. Right? I am never going to be the one going around talking about being a vegan. I'm not a vegan. I don't want to be a vegan. Now, I agree. The vegetables and eating organic is more healthy, but I haven't studied all of Dr. Sebi's laws. Right? I try to eat as little red meat as possible, For Black August, I even gave up pork. The only pork that I ever ate anyway was bacon because I eat it on my sandwiches. I gave that up because I know it's right. But I'm not going to be the one to lecture y'all on the vegan lifestyle. Not my lane, okay? So we got those two. Now, the next step. Remember what I said. Just talking is done. At some point, you're going to have to figure out what's the particular issue that you want to get to work on. What particular aspect of our dilemma? Because as I said it before, as Black people, our dilemma in America is multifaceted. What do I mean by that? It's 5,000 million different things you can do to help Black people progress, right? I'm not going to give up cheese. El Capitan Shabazz, I'm not going to give up cheese. Why don't you do some cardio? I do cardio 6 days a week, chump. I bet I got higher stamina and heart health than you. Nah, back to what I was saying. The problems that we face are multifaceted. I'll give you an example. AIDS. Big problem in the Black community. Abortion. Huge problem in the Black community. Teen pregnancy. Huge problem in the Black community. Disintegration of the family. Huge problem in the Black community. Black on Black violence. Youth violence. Huge problem in the Black community. Prison industrial complex. Inequality in the criminal injustice system. The brainwashing through the media. Propaganda. Young men who think all they can do is play sports. And so they don't need their brains. We got so many problems. Black folk, that you don't need to try to get in nobody else's lane. You can get your own. And now let me say this from the outset, because I keep seeing people, that's one of my reasons for doing this lecture. People keep asking me if I'm going to start a chapter in these other cities. I don't plan to. You can read the book and you can start a chapter, right? That's why I wrote the book, to walk you step by step, and that's why I'm doing this lecture, to walk you step by step through how to organize and get an organization started and keep an organization going and recruit the people and impact the people in your community. A lot of what we're going to have to do right now is going to be local. You can go start your own organization on the same blueprint as BPM, have the same impact as BPM, and I'll support you. You can even start a BPM chapter, and I support you. But that doesn't mean I'm driving my ass to South Carolina, California, Texas. I got to go to court still. I got 2 daughters. I got bills to pay. I can't be flying around the country trying to start up chapters. It's going to take people in your city. You do not ask me when I'm starting a chapter of BPM. Get you some people together. It only takes 2 or 3. I'm going to get to that in the lecture. Get you some people together. Get you a place to meet. Get the book. Read the book. All the questions I answered in the book. The Blueprint for Black Youth Empowerment. It's all answered in the book. And then you get it started. And you can call me. And anything I left out, how do you substantiate with little resources? I'll get to that. That's a good question. That's a magnificent question. Ash Glenn 1. I'm going to get to that in the lecture. But get you a few people, right? Decide exactly what y'all want to do. If you want to work with youth, great. If you want to take care of the elderly, great. Our elders need people to come around and take care of them. It's 1,000 things that need to get done. This book going to show you how to organize to do it. If you particularly want to work with youth like I do, you can call me and I'll help you do it. But please don't say, when am I going to start a chapter? I'm spending all my money on these kids in Jacksonville. Okay? So yeah, that's another thing we're going to get to. All right. Decide what aspect of our situation you want to work on. Let's say you feel that Black health, I've heard people say that what we put into our bodies, that's going to impact our mind and our thought processes and the energy that we produce. So their main thing is nutrition. Okay, your main thing is nutrition. I'm with you. Now you need to because nutrition is a big thing, right? People say the Black community is a food desert, meaning that the foods in the stores available to us in our urban areas don't have the organic fruits and vegetables. They don't have the healthy things for us to eat and the supplements and things that the other people have access to. So that's one of the things that hurts us. But guess what? Most of us don't have the money to build an organic store tomorrow. And they say the main precursor of gentrification is when they bring in a Whole Foods. So we might not want a Whole Foods in our community tomorrow. So when you say that's the area you want to work on, you got to get a few key goals in that specific area. What do I mean? You don't need 5 or 10 goals. You don't need a goal that costs $10 million tomorrow unless you got the 10 million. You got to break this thing down to a few specific goals, 1 or 2, 3 at the most, of what you want to accomplish, right? By 5 years from now, I want to be done. Got all the people in my neighborhood to give up sodas, to give up pork, and to give up red meat. That's a tangible goal. My goal for BPM was to say, number 1, I'm going to keep my little brother out of prison. That was number 1. That's how BPM started. Tangible goal, right? I didn't jump up and say I'm going to shut down every prison in America by tomorrow. Not a tangible goal. I didn't jump up and say I'm going to get every racist prosecutor in the state of Florida fired by the end of the year. Gonna be tough, right? My goal was to bust a hole in the pipeline to prison. So I broke that large goal down to more tangible goals so that I could have something achievable, right? What's up, Attorney Weaver? We ain't hung out in a long time. You done got too big time for the people. But the fight this weekend, we're having a fight party. Okay. I hope Mayweather win, even though I hate to cheer for an Uncle Tom like that. But the other guy called us monkeys, which that was probably a marketing ploy, but I fell for it. But anyway, get a few key goals. My goal was to fight the prison industrial complex, but I had to break it down to something tangible. Let me keep my little brother out of prison. Make sure he stays on the right track. Okay, well, now I got his best friend. Let me try to keep him out of prison. Get him the right mindset. Now we got a few more. Next thing you know, we doing something bigger, but you got to start with a few tangible, concrete, workable goals, right? Not too many. Don't say, I want to fix the environment, make everybody a vegan, get rid of Trump, get rid of the Nazis, and get us all repatriated back to Africa. You can't have all those. Pick 1 or 2, break them down, and get to working on them. Okay? Nah, because success breeds success. And when you achieve one small goal, and another small goal, and another small goal, that keeps the people motivated, and that keeps the movement going. But if I would have said, I want to end all gang violence across America by 2017, we would have failed. You see what I'm saying? We didn't have the resources to do that anyway. Somebody just asked about money. We didn't have the resources to do that anyway. So break this thing down to a few clear, tangible goals. Now, once you've decided what aspect of our dilemma you want to work on, once you've broken it down to tangible, workable things, you got to make sure you study, right? Whatever you want to work on, whatever area you want to be involved in, you're going to have to study like hell. And one of the main things you're going to have to study is African history, everything from African spirituality to African philosophy to African family to African even languages. You're going to have to study who we are as a people and who we were. Because when you decide you want to work with black people, you got to realize that black people are sick. And the doctor, I put this in my book, whenever you go to the doctor, I'm going to get to this question in a second. Whenever you go to the doctor, they're going to need to know your history. What hereditary things do you have? What diseases did your parents have? What are you eating? What's your environment? What's stressing? Before you try to work with black people, you need to know about them. So whatever aspect you want to work in, you need to study it. So I started out by saying you can't just read, but you still need to do that. That's not enough, but that's going to have to be a part of your preparation to do what you want to do. Now I get the question, how do you deal with the bashing and the negative comments made by people like when feminists try to bring you down about uplifting black masculinity? Well, how do I say this? When you're the irritated genie, Baba Baruti, they say the key foundation of being, because that's a great question, of being conscious is realizing that we're at war. That's, as a people, as a black people, we are at war, and all the other groups, and even some of our own that have been bought out by those groups, are trying to destroy us. Right? That's when you're conscious, when you realize we're at war. Nothing else means conscious. Just because you read it, you studied the metal nature, that doesn't mean nothing. When you realize that Arabs, Europeans, gays, feminists, the whole enchilada, LGBTQPCDU, white supremacists, Nazis, they all want us done. The Arabs are not your friends, like Dr. Clark said. None of them are. When you realize we're at war, then you expect people to attack you. So then it's not so bad. Not hard to deal with. We're at war. I'm at war with feminists because feminism is against the black family. And the black family is our first step towards organizing. That's the first thing you organize when you're an organizer. So if you're telling me that we are going to have a war between the genders, and when we know feminism is a European answer to a European problem, not an African answer to an African problem, you adopt that ideology and you want to throw out all gender roles when I know our gender roles in Africa were functional, then you're just an enemy. So if you come on my page every day and say you big, stupid, hyper-masculine gorilla, I expect that. We're at war. Now, if you bring some good debate points, when you bring some good debate points, I might let you keep making your comments and not even block you. If you're bringing some good, original, well thought out, logical, you're making us think. Because some feminists are good at their debates. But if you're bringing this old stale, your fragile masculinity, you're toxic, shut the hell up. Charlottesville, y'all see, it's going to spread. We're going to need some masculinity. Right? Now, you go get D-Ray if you want to and think he going to defend you. You're going to get your ass beat down. Right? Black men have more enemies than everyone. I agree with Mr. Weaver on that. Because I'll get to that in a second. But I don't have a problem dealing with enemies because I know we're out of war. When I go in the boxing ring, I expect the guy to punch me in the face if he can. We at war. When I went on the football field, I expect the other guy to chop block me, double team me, hit me out there. We at war. That's how I deal with it. We at war. So defeat the enemy. I hope that answered that question. That was a real good question. All right. Is included in that as well. Oh God, the more nationality. I'm not even going to get on that today. Okay, here we go. Study that issue inside and out. Break it down. Study some more. You got to be like a doctor and know that our people are sick. That's going to lead to another point, but I ain't going to get to that right now. Number 4. All right. Once you figured out what you want to work on, once you figured out a few realistic goals, once you figured out what's important to you, what meant the most to me is black youth. I watched a documentary in college and I seen what Ronald Reagan was doing to black youth in California. Hillary Clinton was a part of it when they were labeling these young 14-year-old super predators and locking them in prisons with 30 and 40-year-old real predators and turning the whole society against them and having them using the media to make everyone in America think that every young black male was a heartless, vicious gangster, and on top of the police killing us, you herding us into prisons for extraordinary rates. I couldn't believe it. I could believe it, but what I'm saying is that became the area that was most important to me. Now that doesn't mean that the other areas aren't important. That was just the one that was important. Stuck out to me, having a young black brother, right? A little brother. So once you figured out what area is more important to you, once you've broken that thing down, studied, and you got a few key practical goals, right? Then, somebody asked a question about money. Once you've done that, you have to look around right where you are. And I'm going to use my example from BPM. Look around right where you are at that moment. Don't say, I'm going to wait 30 years till I have 2 degrees and 4 houses and some land and start my farm and my army. Don't say that. Look around right where you are. Look at the people, money, resources, facilities, everything that's at your disposal right there, and it might not be much. Look at what you have and put that to work in some concrete way to start inching toward that goal, which brings me to the BPM Training, right? This is a remake of the original BPM shirt, which we had about 7 years ago. The train was the symbol that I chose to go with, a black train, because a train can go all across the country. A train is powerful, and if you get in its way, it'll crush you to pieces. It can move people. It can move cargo. It's an unstoppable force in many aspects. But even a train moves one track at a time. You see what I'm saying? It moves one track at a time. So when you get ready to get started, don't say I got to get from here to Dakota. Just say I got to get from that track to that track. And they're only a little bit apart, right? So when I started BPM, when I got back from Iowa, I came back to Duval County, the north side of Duval County, one of the most violent, dangerous places in the country for black people, for anybody who comes over there. And I said, I have to find a way to make an impact now. Yeah, I could say, I'm going to wait till I get my law degree. I'm going to wait till I have making $150,000 a year. I'll wait till I become a city councilman or a governor or something. Shit wouldn't have been done yet. Because if you wait till the perfect time, nothing ever gets done. That's why if that guy still telling you he want to wait till y'all got a house and $150,000 in the bank and 3 cars before he can marry you, he's a damn lie. Right? You can't wait till things are perfect. So, when I got back to Jacksonville, I had a 1993 Thunderbird that my older brother basically gave me. I was living with my mom in a 2-bedroom house going to law school. I was bouncing in a nightclub on the weekend just to get some gas money because they wouldn't even give me student loans for a long time, to cover my extra living expenses. They held mine up a long time. Y'all know how it is when you're from the hood and you ain't got no good co-signers or anything like that. I didn't have very many resources at all. I didn't have a team of volunteers. I had me, Wood. I had God. I had me. I had my little brother. And I had a mind. And so what did I do? I started with my little brother and his best friend and whatever little guys that were hanging with him. And that's how we started, right? I didn't have a facility. I didn't have nonprofit status. 501c3, didn't have none of that. Didn't have nobody to help. But I said, I'm going to start with these two. It's all in the book. I'm going to start to train them mentally. I'm going to start to teach them about God. I'm going to start to teach them about their black history, their African history, who they really are. I'm going to start to train them physically. I'm going to start to teach them discipline. I'm going to start to get them to lift. I'm going to start to get them to think differently. I'm going to start to get them to act differently. And when people saw me out here training them, they'll say, could you work with my boys? I say, this is not really a program. This is just, I'm just getting, well, the first thing they said is, are you a football coach? And I say, hell no. It's a lot more to life than football. Black kids can do more than play football. That's why I wrote this book. But the second, once I told them that, then they would say, well, can you work with my boys, right? And so as I started to get more boys, you taking me down, we're going down, we ain't supposed to be getting here yet. Let me make sure I'm staying on track. Look around you. The main thing I want you to get from this point is to look around you, look at the resources that you have right then, and use those. Just use those for them. When you get some more, use them. If somebody come break in your house and all you got is a high point, you're going to have to use the high point. You can't say, wait till I get me a nice Glock or a Desert Eagle. No, use what you got. Now, I hate to be the person depending on that high point, But all I'm saying is that that's all you might have at the time. If you try to wait till you get the what's these expensive guns they got? The Sig Sewer, one of those. If you want to wait till you get the FN, they got the most expensive tactical 45 handguns, cost about $1,500. If you try to wait till you can afford one of those to defend yourself, you'll be dead. Okay? He talking about that 22. Whew, I wouldn't want to be dependent on that, but if that's all I had at the time, that's what I would go with. All right? So, number one, keep what you're doing small. It doesn't have to be big from the beginning. It's not going to be big from the beginning if it's meaningful. If you see something pop up, supposed to be on behalf of black people, and it's big and nationwide, statewide, nationwide, right off jump, that means it's funded by a white supremacist and it's a joke. Let me repeat. If you see some so-called movement that's supposed to be on behalf of black people pop up out of nowhere and go nationwide, all of a sudden they in different states doing such and such, that's a fake organization. It's not grassroots and it's not real. Can I give you an example? Yes, Black Lives Matter. Here's a dead giveaway. If they're supposed to be about blacks, but they start talking about immigrants, homosexuals, handicaps, Mexicans, Arabs, Muslims, if they start talking about all that other shit and go viral, you seeing them on TV. There's some other ones out there too now, not just Black Lives Matter. Watch out for all of them. You seeing them on TV. They over there marching somewhere. They getting the news coverage. That's not a real organization. That's what they call controlled opposition. And our enemies will prop up fakes for us to follow. So whatever you decide to do, let's keep it real. Keep it small until you can afford to make it bigger. Keep it cheap. How do you keep it cheap? This is what we would do with BPM. Once we got beyond 4 or 5 kids and we got up to maybe 10, 15 kids, I had maybe 2 or 3 good men. And I might as well, that's the next point, so let's go into the good men. I had maybe 2 or 3 good men and my wife. And I say, okay, we're a little too big for my budget right now because I wasn't even practicing law all the way back at the beginning. I would say, okay, you bring some potato chips, you bring some burgers, you bring that, I'll bring this. We can have our meeting. You bring some pencils and paper. I'll get the PowerPoint ready. We all contribute the little that we got, and we can do a lot. Okay. If we all contribute the little that we got, we can still do a lot. None of us had $50,000 sitting in the bank. None of us had multiple vehicles or owned our homes, but we all contributed the little that we had. You bring some potato chips, you get some bread. Next thing you know, we can feed these boys. And whenever you feed these black boys in the inner city, you can get them. You can get them to come if you can say we're going to have some free food. And it ain't got to be lobster either. Okay? So keep it cheap. Spread the cost. It was a point where I had to say, okay, I can't do this all at my pocket no more. Be humble enough to say, hey, Jonathan Ross was there from the beginning. I don't know if he in on this. Jonathan, I'm going to need you to bring this. It was points where I had to ask my wife for gas money because we used to pick the kids up. That's another thing. Don't expect black people to come out to anything that's good for them. Y'all need to write that down. Don't expect black people to come out to anything that's good for them. You're going to have to go pick kids up. I'm glad I'm getting to this now because I'm going to show you how hard it's going to be. You talking about you want to make a difference. I can say BPM this Saturday. We're going to have free food, free tutors, free workout. We're going to have boxing lessons, all free. Nobody's coming. When we started, we had to go pick all our kids up. Black people don't want nothing good for them a lot of times. I ain't gonna categorize everybody, but a lot of us don't want nothing that's good for us. Now, if Gucci Man came to town, they'd be lined up around the block. But you talking about free tutoring? What the hell I want with that? Now, if you said free Michael Jordan shoes, they coming. So be prepared to put in this work. We had to go around and pick kids up. We had parents who couldn't even have the kids where they're supposed to be picked up. When we started, black people don't necessarily want the things that are good for them. So black people come when it starts to look big and it starts to look cool and you get a buzz. Then you can get more of a crowd. But when you start and you don't got no buzz, it's just a few black men in here talking about knowing your ancestors. What are they talking about? Get the hell out of here. I want some Jordans, right? So keep it small, keep it cheap. Be humble enough to depend on those around you, right? And to get the thing off the ground. Now, this is a big point I want everybody to understand. There's a huge, and I write about this in the book. Make sure that everything that you're doing is targeted and strategic toward a specific goal for our people. There's a huge difference between targeted strategic action that's studied and calculated to make the impact that we want, and symbolic action that's just to get attention, right? A lot of people that are involved in so-called activism do nothing but symbolic acts. None of it is studied, none of it is systematic, none of it is consistent. It's just symbolic acts here and there. Let's break this down. In BPM, we have a year-round, non-stop program to give our kids the right ideology and the right mindset to make them competitive academically, to make them ready to go out and compete economically and be self-sufficient as men, not necessarily to go to college. Maybe to get a trade skill, maybe to start your own business, maybe to be an entrepreneur, but we have a systematic, year-round, non-stop program. But you know what we could do? We could just give out book bags at the beginning of the school year, right? That's the difference between targeted, strategic, consistent action and just doing something for show, symbolism. We would probably get more news coverage if we just gathered up 1,000 book bags at the beginning of the year, gave them all out, got hundreds of people to come out, and hey, we did a good deed. That's not shit. Because if the kids don't have the right ideology, if the kids don't have that constant reinforcement, if the kids don't have that discipline, they're going to take that book bag and maybe put dope in it or put guns in it. So make sure, the books are on Amazon. Make sure that what you're doing is strategic and targeted and consistent, not just symbolic. Here's another one. Maybe you decide health is your thing. So you're cultivating this community garden and you only feed 10 people a week, but you're doing it year round. That's magnificent because those people can depend on that and change their whole diet. But what you could do is just buy a bunch of organic vegetables once a year and give them away, get on the news and say, look, this is my contribution. That's symbolic. You just did that to get a show. Because then people go eat them vegetables that one day they can't afford them no more and they got to go back to the GMO, right? So make sure you know the difference. Now let's get back to this thing about a few good men. Don't get caught up thinking you need 50 volunteers to push your mission at the beginning. Because if you start to think that, you're going to be disappointed, you're going to get tired, you're going to give up. Again, if I just said black people don't want to come out to receive most things that are good for them, what makes you think black people are going to come out and work towards a cause that's good for our people and they're not getting paid? Okay? Remember what I said. Black people are sick. Even the ones who want to be so-called activists, like I said, some of them just want a platform. Some of them want to be seen. They want to get on TV. They want to get some extra women. Some of them are not in this for the right reasons. Some of them only do symbolic things to get attention. You can't count on them for no strategic, consistent work. So don't get out here thinking you're going to have 40 volunteers backing you up with everything if you do. You're not. I still don't have 40 volunteers backing me up with everything I do. And we 7 years into this. Okay? All you need is a few good men. If you got 2 good soldiers backing you up, right? If you got 2, even 1, I started out with just me. But if you got 2 that you can rely on, you'll be surprised how much you could do. You'll be surprised how much you could do, right? So focus on the quality of the people that you bring in to work with you, not the quantity. Because you go recruiting all these people that have a bunch of damn drama on your hands, a bunch of egos, a bunch of backbiting, a bunch of people that don't even line up with your aims. And that's another thing. If you pushing, let's say you pushing black family, do you want to go get a bunch of men who are men whores and never gonna start families? Right? In BPM, we push the family. Is it any coincidence that almost every one of our main men are married, black men, married to black women? Well, you don't have none that's married to anything else. Either you married to a black woman or you looking for one to marry. But what I'm saying is that our men reflect our aims, right? In BPM, we teach entrepreneurship. We don't teach our kids just to stay on the plantation. Good job. We teach them to make your own job. Is it any coincidence that most of our key men have their own businesses and don't punch no clock? No. You have to recruit people that line up with your aims. Because if you show up talking about the black family and you got 5 gender confused men and 4 or 5 gender confused women who never gonna form black families, how in the hell are you gonna teach the black family? Talk about every black man should have them a black woman. Like I always say, if you bought this life, then where's your black wife? Do you see? Talking about we should be ready to defend ourselves. You ain't even got a damn gun. Some of these, you better make sure the people that you recruit, that they live the life that they live your aims. All right? So, get you a few good men, let them, and this is another one. Even if you have people, you're going to have people that will come out and contribute to your efforts in some ways that aren't going to be as gung-ho and 100% as you. That's okay. Don't run them away. Let them contribute what they will. They may not be a soldier. They may just be a cadet. Right? If they may just want to help cook the food. They may help pick the kids up, drop them off. They may help plan something out. They may just want to give money. Don't turn that down just because they're not ready to get on the front line. If they're going to put forth something, use that. Right? Like I said, you don't need a few real soldiers. Everybody else could be part-time. We got part-time people in BPM right now. You can't get mad at them. They part-time. Right? So, remember that. Let's see what else we got here. Dangerous wannabes. I'm going to tell you, man. Once you, if this in the book, I put this in the book. If your motives are pure, right, and your thing starts to take off, you're going to have some people coming out that see what you're doing, and they're not going to be coming to help you. They're not going to be coming to help the movement grow. They're going to be coming to gain as much as they can for themselves and to use what you've built and to really benefit themselves. I call these dangerous wannabes in the book. You gotta learn how to decipher these people. I got a whole chapter in the book about ways that I've learned to see who's a dangerous wannabe. You want to know? I'll give you a few of the keys. A dangerous wannabe, they're not going to be there when you're just starting and when you're grinding and putting in that work. Right? They're not going to be there for that time. They're only going to show up once it gets big. That's one giveaway. They're not going to have a prior successful body of work themselves. That's why they want to be you. If they had built something themselves, they'd have never came over here trying to be you. That's another giveaway. No real body of work that they can point to. Right? Let's see. I'm going to give you another one. Their prior body of work might have been all symbolic. I just told you about them symbolic actions. That's not a good one. Another thing I done learned is that a lot of these dangerous wannabes have criminal records because they imposters and they done shady stuff, shady things their whole life. And I'm not saying nothing about people with criminal records. Most of I got a lot of family members that are convicted felons, but they wasn't doing fraudulent things. They might have an assault and battery or a dope charge or something. They weren't doing fraudulent, deceptive practices. Do you see what I'm saying? So, yeah, watch out for these individuals. They're not there for the right reasons, and they can I ain't gonna say they can destroy a program, because if it's built on God, if it's built on faith and the right principles and your motivations are pure, they can't destroy it. But they can sure cause you some damn headaches till you get their ass out. And don't be afraid to kick their ass out. Write this down. Minute Maid. That's all it's Minute Maid. I love it. Not that good for you, but it's delicious. Don't be afraid to kick bastards out. You can't keep a dangerous wannabe. You can't keep a faker. You can't keep an imposter. You can't keep somebody who's all about their own self-aggrandizement. You can't keep them around in the name of unity, because you can't unite with that. That's like saying I want to teach my boys to start black families and marry a black woman, and all I bring around them is a bunch of black men who done abandoned the black woman, done abandoned all women. Do you see? I can't unite with D-Ray. Okay? You can't be talking about you pushing Dr. Sebi's lifestyle, and then you got a bunch of people eating pork chops and chicken legs and everything. You're not going to be able to unite with those people. So don't be afraid to kick people out. That's a lesson I had to learn. I had to learn it the hard way. Everybody keep talking about unity. A lot of these black people, when they start yelling unity all the time, it's because they done got called out and they don't want to be isolated. I will call a bastard out, isolate the bastard, excommunicate the bastard, stop speaking to the bastard, and I'll beat the bastard up if I have to. Because I'm not uniting with nobody that's not a real black man or a real black woman. You can't do it. If you're not about straight black pride, I can't unite with you. If you're not about this unk life, I can't unite with you. If you don't know how to be a man and you still doing little feminine stuff and you're 30, 40, 50 years old, you don't know how to say what you need to say to somebody's face, how am I going to unite with you? It ain't going to work. That's a relationship built to fail, okay? Now, this is what I want to get everybody. This is the point I want to get across to you. And hopefully this will scare most of you away from this line of work, because we only need the truth. We only need the truth out here. If you want to get into anything aimed at building the black community, you need to plan on failure. Listen to me now. Plan for failure. You're going to fail. You're going to have failures in certain aspects, in a certain view. Plan on being disrespected. Plan on not being appreciated. Plan on being talked about. Plan on the same people you're trying to help treating you at various stages in this thing like a piece of shit. Plan on that. This will get you ready. Because if you think you're just going to start working it and everybody's going to open their facilities to you and everybody's going to welcome your work and everybody's going to believe in you and support you, you dead wrong. There's insecure people who've been trying to do what you doing, and they're not going to want to see you do it better than they did. If they failed at it, you know they don't want to see you do it. Right? I came to Jacksonville. I'm not from Jacksonville. I'm from Orlando. There's people in Jacksonville who've been trying to build community organizations for years, never built a consistent movement, and then you think they want to see me come in and do it when they couldn't in their own city? Hell no, they ain't going to want to see you do it. They're going to be at your throat. Okay, there's parents who had their kids in BPM who were so ignorant and had such a European mindset, and I hate to say it, a ghetto mindset, that when their kids did stupid shit, got in trouble, and we punished them, they would get mad at us They would get mad at the teachers and the principals, everybody besides their kid who did the stupid shit. Do you see? And come after us. And I'm doing this for free. I said, I tell you what, get your stupid kid and get the hell out. How about that? Nah, how about that? Because you don't appreciate what we're doing, right? You don't appreciate what we're doing. That's a liability risk as it is. You know everybody want to file a lawsuit these days. If you don't appreciate what we're doing, if your kid is beyond being corrected and you don't want to hear it, get the hell out. But just let me tell you, it's not going to be all peaches and cream. It's going to be times where you invite 700 people and 7 show up. Just move to a smaller room, make it look like it was full anyway, right? It's going to be times where you thought people would donate and contribute and you end up having to go in your own pocket. It's going to be times where the same people you're trying to help hurt you and do you any kind of way. And it's going to be times where people in this very city where you working actively work to undermine. And then it's going to be times where people see what you're doing and just try to go copy it. That's when you made it, right? They're going to try to just go in, hey, he's working for him. He got 50, 60 kids over there. They got a social media presence. They impacting these kids. That looks good. I like how that looks. They getting attention. Let me go do it. Copycats. Imitators. They whack. You can't get mad at them. Can't go bust them in the mouth. Just do better than them. All right? Now, another thing I done learned in my years with BPM is that a real movement type organization is a family. What do I mean by that? The key people that I have around me and the kids in BPM, our main people, they could show up to my house without calling, right? I'm going to have to start the Instagram live over in a second. They could show up to my house without calling. They can have some of my pizza rock. We can sit around for hours and talk. If I need something, they'll give it to me. If they need something, I'll give it to them. Because when you find people that's really dedicated, what is the supreme law of the land? I guess that's a more. If you find people that's really dedicated, they'll become more like family than some of your actual blood. And that's what's going to keep this movement going. Because you got to be able to be real with each other. You got to be able to say, bro, quit making excuses. Shut the hell up and get up here. We got 50 kids. I need to get them from point A to point B. I don't care if you're arguing with your wife. Shut the hell up and let's go. You can only say that to real brothers. Right? So a real organization is going to be like a family. And you're going to have your own culture. Now, this is another one. You're going to have to, within whatever movement you're building, you're going to have to have your own culture, meaning your own way of thinking, your own way of doing things. Everything is not going to be accepted. I'll give you an example. In BPM, all of our young black males have pledged allegiance to the black woman. They have pledged allegiance to grow up, get themselves in a secure situation, marry a black woman, and start a black family. They don't get any points. They don't get any accolades for sleeping around. We're not trying to create players and pimps. It's only one way. This is our way of life. This is how we do things. We build families. We build businesses. Don't come trying to tell me I got 3 girls and a side chick. We don't support that. We're against that. That's not a part of our culture, right? I had to restart Instagram. It always shut down after like an hour. We finishing up here. I'm going to let the people come back in on Instagram. Let the people get back in on Instagram real quick. They come back in. Man, let me just say one thing. Please try to make sure the comments are relevant to what we're talking about. A second ago, I was talking about the black family or something. I seen somebody on Instagram talk about who would win out of Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. I like fights, but hell, that ain't what we're talking about right now, damn it. Then I was talking about something about brotherhood, and somebody started asking, what's the supreme law of the land? What the hell that got to do with what we're talking about right now? We have a discussion topic. Let's stay on point. Somewhat on point, at least. I appreciate all the comments, but let's just keep this on topic. All right? Now, let's go back to what I was saying. You're going to have your own culture. You're going to have your own culture within your movement, and you can't accept things that are outside of that, right? In BPM, we teach a certain mindset. The man is supposed to be strong. The man is supposed to be able to defend and protect. The man is supposed to have a family. I had one guy come on my Facebook and say, what do you mean? Are you trying to say that every black man is supposed to get a black woman and start a family? What if he doesn't want to start a family and be single all his life? First of all, if you want to have sex, you're going to need a woman. And every black man I ever known wanted to have sex. Now, if you don't want to have sex with women, you're not going to be a part of this organization. And in BPM, we teach that sex is a good thing within the confines of marriage. This is our culture. We don't teach sleeping around. We don't teach trying to be a player. We don't teach that. And here we teach the family. So if you're not with that, go somewhere else. Right? In BPM, if I say y'all two knuckle up, we don't teach fear and back down. We teach a man should be able to scrap. So we teach self-defense, and we practice what we preach, and we practice what we teach. That's our culture. If you bring your kid and say, well, this is too rough. I don't know why he has to do this. He does not have to do this. He could go. This is our culture. So within every organization and every movement is going to be a culture. Make sure you build a culture that's going to be conducive to what you want. I want to bring real black manhood back. I want to bring the black family back. So that's the culture that we build. That's what we talk about. Nobody in BPM, and I promise you this is true. There's never, because I go around, okay, I'll give you this example. In college, I played football. In college, I played alpha. And I've been in the South. I've been in the Midwest. I've been around white men. I've been around black men. Every time you get around a group of men, and they women not there, and they start drinking, they're going to start talking about their side chicks and the other women that they're sleeping with. This is just, I might be giving away a fundamental part of the man code, but this ain't a part I like, so have at it. I've been to other black conscious so-called events and had the men trying to talk about what type of Hispanic, that's white, Indian white, women they screwing. I don't want to hear about that shit. That's not what I'm here for. Right? You don't get no cool points from me. Did you think I was going to say, oh, hell no. Get it out my face. Show me a picture of your wife. Right? It's never been a day where me and the men at BPM get together and then we talk about the women that we cheating on our wives with. That's not allowed. That's not glorified. That's not supported. That's against our culture. Right? So make sure it's a real culture. It's a real belief system. It's a real ideology. You're really grounded in what you're supposed to be promoting. Because when I find out that it's a bunch of bull crap and that it's nothing underneath what you're talking about saying, then I get away from that. Because I'm like Barry White. I believe you got to practice what you preach. Amen? Amen. Or Ashe. Okay. Now, whenever you're doing your different organizations, make sure you secure yourself legally. Meaning you're not exposing yourselves to liability. You're using the correct permission slips, the correct contract, the correct insurance, the correct paperwork, because you could be doing a good thing and still be preyed upon by someone. who looking for a come up. So whatever organization it is that you're starting, whatever the aim of that organization, make sure you speak to an attorney, right? Make sure you utilize the partner. BPM didn't always do this, even with a bunch of attorneys involved. When we started off, we didn't even have permission slips because the boys that we had was like our little sons and brothers. We didn't really think about that. But when the next thing you know, you got 30 people showing up and they dropping their boys off and whoa, you doing physical stuff, you better have some permission slips. Because you could be out there working with their child, keeping their child off the streets, doing things with their child that they couldn't even do, and then they see an opportunity for a lawsuit and they'll come after you. That's how sick our people are. Don't put it past them, don't put it past them, don't put it past them. I don't have to deal with it. Secure yourself. Now, it's only 2 more points that I want to make, then I'm going to be out of here. Now, this is something that you can take to the bank and cash it. Take this to the bank and cash it. Whatever route you plan to impact our community, whatever road you take towards that, the goals that you decide on, and the methods you decide to take, consistency is the bottom line and the engine that's going to drive all of it. You have to be consistent. You have to be consistent. You have to be consistent. Consistent. I can say this 1,000 times because with working with kids, you can go get them a good talk one day and don't see them no more for 3 months. They be right back out doing the same thing. You got to be on them. They got to know. We got to meet this day. I got to answer for my actions. We going to be meeting next week. They got to know. It's coming. This is going to happen. It can't be guesswork. If you go meet with these, I'm just talking about kids now because that's what I do, but this applies to everything. If I go meet with these kids, we plan out this whole thing, this is your goal for your GPA, this is your behavior, and then I don't see you again for a month or 2 because I canceled a meeting to go have parties in Miami, or I canceled a meeting to go to the strip club, or I canceled a meeting to go on vacation. That kid is not going to take this serious. It's got to be like clockwork. Once you show them you consistent, then they're going to know you serious. They're going to know you love them. You actually care. It's got to be consistent to make that impact. It can't be once a month, once every 2 months. You can't just cancel for nothing. Now, there's another thing I can tell you about BPM. Our main meetings are twice a month, and we have smaller individualized or just smaller group things between those things. Get-togethers, hang out, go shooting, some tutoring, mentoring, this, that. Hate to use that word, mentoring, but we do small things in between. In the 7 years, well, it's 5 since we started those big meetings, that we've been having these meetings, we have only canceled, I believe, once. It may be twice. In 5 years, it's been going like clockwork. And the only time that we've canceled is in the face of a hurricane. Now that's consistent right there. That's what I'm talking about. Better example. If you want to lose 50 pounds and you go to the gym every day this week and then you take all of next month off, you're not going to lose any weight. Or even what you lost is going to be back on plus some more. Consistency is the key. These kids have people in and out of their lives that break promises. If you come up doing the same thing, they ain't seeing you but once every couple months. They're not going to react well to that. Consistency is the key. Regardless of what you're doing, read the book. I put it into different contexts in the book. Consistency is the key, regardless. Consistency. And the people that have the wrong motives, they're not going to be able to be consistent. Because, do you know, I'm tired many times that we have to have BPM and I have to put together a lesson and activities and pick boys up. And do you know I'm broke sometimes and I still have to spend whatever money I got because these kids used to eating at every meeting? Do you know? Well, you got to spend it. You got to do it. Get up and do it. Because you can't take a week off. Because it don't take too long for these kids to float away. right? I gotta be on it. I gotta be on it. I gotta be on it. It's my worst nightmare to cancel a meeting and let these kids go to filtering away, and then I come back a month or two later and wonder where they all went. It doesn't take that long for them. It's so much pulling them away. It doesn't take that long. Whatever you do, you better be consistent. I'm talking about rain, hail, sleet, or snow. Unless the hurricane is already there, an imminent loss of life, limb, and property has arrived. Keep going. All right? Now, this is my last rule. And this pertains specifically. I learned this specifically with our self-defense, boxing, wrestling, but I really learned it when we started the gun club. This is a lesson black people are going to have to learn because we so damn scared. Right? Black people are so scary. The so-called conscious community is full of a bunch of punks, right? Listen to me. I have to get real up close and personal with this, all right? Listen to me now. Just because black people are afraid to do something, that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. What does that mean? When I decided that it was important for black men to be armed, I first armed myself, right? Practice what you preach. And black people are like, bro, what you need with these guns? Like, shut your punk ass up. All of the enemies of black people have guns. It's our right under the Constitution to bear arms. And although we know they don't always observe very many of our rights, that doesn't mean I'm not going to exercise it. Right? So I started buying them. The next thing, to make it even worse to these people, I started a gun club. What the hell are you doing, Vern? Don't you know the government's watching you? Damn it, they watching you. Right? Vern, how can you post pictures of your guns? They already know I bought them. I bought them out the store. Every time I go to the gun store, I buy all my guns legally. Every time I go to the gun store, they have a record of everything I done purchased. I had them printed off for tax write-off purposes. The government already know. You got people talking about, he posted pictures with guns. Okay, here goes another one right here. Home defense system. Right here. See that? I got a see-through magazine. Y'all like that? You can see the bullets in there. Nice scope on it. AK-47. Every black man should have one. Should I not let the internet see it? Damn it, the government already knows. Stop being so scared. Damn it, we scared. Just so scared of. If they want to do something to you, they're going to do it anyway. Martin Luther King ain't have no guns. They killed him. So what? If they're going to do something to you, they're going to do it. Stop being so scared. I tell you what, though. I'm going to be prepared to defend my family and defend my people. Hey, and go out like that. I'm not going to go out the other way trying to be scared. You think you're keeping a secret? I heard Professor Griff say they have cameras so small that they could put them on a mosquito. You think you keeping a secret because you won't get a gun or you won't post no picture with your gun or you scared to talk about guns? They still know. Damn, y'all scary. Whew. I love my guns. Shit. I love my guns. But anyway, all I'm saying is that maybe regardless of what you're doing for the people, they may say, well, you're going too far with that. When we start teaching the kids how to box, they say you're going too far with that. That's going to be violent. Nigga, we need black men to be violent at the right time. That's not violence. Like Malcolm said, that's not violence when it's self-defense. That's intelligent. So what you want me to do, teach him to be a little wimp, go sit down and fold his legs? Just because you're scared to do it, well, guess what? If you don't want your son to know how to fight, send him to school not prepared. And be prepared to give him some extra lunch money when they take his. Just because black people are afraid to do it, that doesn't mean you don't do it. When they saw my gun, they're like I was going to go just run down the street and jump off a building and shoot everybody. That's not what I'm doing. That's not what I'm doing. Now, Harley Civil Process, we done talked about why you don't show your gun collection. And you gave very valid reasons for that. Right? You gave very valid reasons. But I'm talking about people who talking about the government's watching you. You're going to be bought down. Damn, the government watching you. You ain't doing shit. Okay? All right? So just because whatever it may be, everybody's not going to work with you. Whatever area you're going into, don't be so scary. They already know. Just make sure you dot your I's, cross your T's, everything legal, everything above board. That's all you can really do. Talking about keeping a secret. I'm going to tell you that applies. Ain't no secret, man. Ain't no secret. What do they think Form 4473 is for? I see what he said. Yeah, okay. So, people, I'm done. I've come to my last point. But I'm going to close out by saying this. If you see somebody now in 2017 and their whole resume is just talk, they haven't built an organization, they don't have a group of men or women or both lined up, moving in the right direction, actually creating tangible benefits for our people. They're not building businesses. They're not building institutions. They're not building organizations. They can't show their work. All they can do is talk. Then get the hell away from that person, because the time for talk is over. If you want to go watch 50 lectures by Elijah Muhammad, Louis Farrakhan, Marcus Garvey, and Dr. Umar, go ahead. But then we got to get out here and get to work, right? And that's what this book, The Blueprint for Black Youth Empowerment, that's what it teaches. How to take what you learn, how to take your passion and translate that into an organization, a movement, a business, an institution, something tangible that's doing the work. I can say I hate the prisons all day long, but if I'm not doing nothing to keep my young black males out of the prisons, then I'm just talking. I can quote all the statistics. 1 in 3 black males will be incarcerated. Over 2 million locked behind bars. America has a higher incarceration rate of black citizens than South Africa did at the heart of apartheid. I can read the new Jim quote 83 times and quote every line in it. But if I'm not getting out here creating institutions and organizations and a movement to fight the prison industrial complex, then it's all for naught. Okay, it's just intellectualism. And that's not going to win any battles for us. So, get the book. If you want a BPM chapter in your city, get you a few black men and women together. Get you a location and start working with a few kids. Read the book and call me if you have any questions. I will give you all the information that I have. I'll give you all the do's and don'ts that I've been able to learn in this time. I will even come there if you get something going. But don't just tell me you need to come start a chapter here. No, the hell I don't. You need to start a chapter there. I done told you how. I done told you how to do it even if you don't have a lot of money. I done told you how to do it even if you don't have a lot of resources. Don't sit back and wait on me to do it. I have my hands full in Duval County. All right? So, yeah, let's get to work. My new slogan is show your work. Let's talk more work. Let's get to work. BPM today, BPM tomorrow, BPM for life. Baby, we out.